to the cloud. Thank you. Thank you all. So I am opening the Deerfield Valley the Development Review Board hearing and meeting. Do we have any additions to the agenda? Diane? No. John? Charlie's going to be on in a few minutes. I would like an approval of the minutes from April 6th, which as soon as we can do is when Charlie gets on. So let's postpone. We are going to now open the hearing. This is an after-the-fact application 2025-138. The property address is 220 Lake Raponda Road. The property owner is Nicholas and Heather Oldfield. The agent is Raymond Reed. The proposal is an expansion of a single-family dwelling in the residential zoning district and in the shoreland protection area. The completed work replaced an existing front access ramp that extended into the right-of-way with a larger staircase, increased the overall footprint of the building and decks, increased the height of the structure, and added a basement laundry room. The expansion encroaches further into the building setback from the rear property boundary, increasing the degree of the pre-existing nonconformity. The applicant is requesting an after-the-fact dimensional waiver from setback requirements. The applicable code sections are Article 2, Section 221, 222, 223, 224, 226, 227, 231, 232, 271, and 272. Article 4, Section 705, 706, B, D, E, and F, 709, 710, 720, 721, 722, 730, A, B, C, D, G, H, and K. And Article X, shoreland in non-conforming structure, non-conforming lot, non-conforming use, and non-conformity definitions. Thank you all. To the board, are there any conflicts of interest or ex parte discussions? No. Thank you. Charlie, you're with us now? Okay, I presume he is. All right, so is there anyone going to be giving testimony other than Mr. Reed?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So are the Oldfields here?
Yes, we're both here.
Are you going to be giving testimony tonight?
Not unless we're asked to do so.
Well, if we have any questions that your agent can't answer, then it is the expectation that the owner of the property will answer them. So can you please?
Of course, if we are asked questions that the agents can't answer, then yes, we will provide testimony.
Okay, so would anyone who's going to give testimony, please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you provide is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. So we're turning this
over. Are you asking
over.
For other testimony too?
I'm sorry?
Are you asking for other parties' testimony on if we want to speak?
Are you in a butter?
No.
You are in the neighborhood?
Yes.
Where do you live on Lake Raponda Road?
We have property on Lake Raponda and Stearns Ave.
So what number Lake Raponda is it?
Actually doesn't have a number. It's an undeveloped lot with a dock.
Okay. You or John going to give testimony? John, do you want to give testimony?
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
If need be, I will. Yes.
So, John, raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you provide is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. Yep.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to turn this over to one of our board members who is going to be the case manager, and that is John Gannon. He'll be asking questions. We'll all probably be jumping in and asking questions. but I'm turning it over to John.
Thank you, Cheryl, and welcome everybody. So just to give you what we're going to do tonight, the first thing I'm going to do is go through the exhibits. If there are any exhibits missing or any additional exhibits that you want to enter into evidence, please let me know. Then I'll ask for a synopsis of the case from the agent or from the owners. When you give your synopsis, I would appreciate if you identify what zoning ordinances you think this application should be permitted under. And then after that, we will go through the various sections of the zoning ordinance, starting with Article 2. So now I will go through the exhibits. Exhibit 1 is the Town of Wilmington cover sheet. Exhibit 2 is a zoning permit staff report. That's 2 pages in length. Exhibit 3 is the application for DRB review. That's 3 pages. Exhibit 4 is the Town of Wilmington parcel map for 220 Lake Raponda Road. Exhibit 5 is the Town of Wilmington property tax cart for 220 Lake Raponda Road. Exhibit 6 is the site plan for 220 Lake Raponda Road. Exhibit 7 is the construction plan for 220 Lake Raponda Road. It's 4 pages. Exhibit 8 is photos of the original house at 220 Lake Raponda Road. There are 5 photos. Exhibit 9 is the photos of the newly constructed front porch at 220 Lake Raponda Road. There are 3 photos. Exhibit 10 is a 3D rendering of a newly constructed front porch with, I believe, modifications of the stairs. Exhibit 11 is a letter from the Town of Wilmington Road Supervisor dated March 11th, 2026. Raised safety concerns, raised stairs located in town right away at 220 Lake Raponda Road. Exhibit 12 is emails to and from the Town of Wilmington Zoning Administrator and the Town of Wilmington Road Supervisor dated March 23rd and March 24th, 2026. Ray, new plans for the stairs. Exhibit 13 is the Town of Wilmington warning. Exhibit 14 is the abutter list and postage date for notice mailing. Exhibit 15 is the zoning permit 2025-042 dated March 14, 2025, approving rebuild of 220 Lake Raponda Road in same footprint. Exhibit 16 is application 2025-042 for 220 Lake Raponda Road. It's 9 pages in length. Exhibit 17 is zoning permit 2024-319 for 220 Lake Raponda Road dated December 18th, 2024. Ray Repair Home Foundation with the same footprint for 220 Lake Raponda Road. Exhibit 18 is the application for 2024-319 for 220 Lake Raponda Road. That is 2 pages in length. 19 is an audit report. Exhibit 20 is notice of violation dated June 9th, 2025 for 220 Lake Raponda Road. Exhibit 21 is updated notice of violation dated June 26, 2025 for 220 Lake Raponda Road. Exhibit 22 is notice of violation dated October 8, 2025 for 220 Lake Raponda Road. Exhibit 23 is photos of the rear of the original, one photo of the original house at 220 Lake Raponda Road before construction. Exhibit 24 is 6 photos of house at Lake Raponda Road after construction, focusing on the rear deck. Those are dated April 17th, 2026. Are there any exhibits I'm missing, or are there any additional exhibits?
Question is to you. As of right now, no.
Okay.
We submitted everything to Alex.
Okay. Just checking.
Yep.
Okay.
We haven't, can I just say something here?
Sure.
I don't have a copy of all of those exhibits that you've just referenced. I don't believe they've ever been sent to us. I will have some documents. They're not in the order. They're not labeled Exhibit 1 to 21. So this is the first time I'm hearing all of the exhibits. I didn't take it all on board, but there will be various communications between us and the attorney for the town. So to the extent that they're not there, nor have we had any communication or chance to submit any exhibits. So I guess I'm not sure what happens. We're very new to this process, so I'm not sure we might refer to some stuff, and if you need a copy of it later, hopefully it's okay for us to submit that at some point.
So if there are additional exhibits that you want to provide as the hearing goes on, you can send those to Alex Miller, and he'll make sure the DRB board receives those. And so we can handle it that way, if that's okay.
Is there a list of all of the exhibits that you just mentioned that somebody might be able to email to me now, so that we can all be reading off the same page?
There probably isn't just a clean list of those exhibits, but most of the exhibits you should have, because they relate to your various applications or the notices of violation. I'm
sure I have them somewhere, but they won't be. I can't easily get them to hand, because we were like, I guess we were given 1 hour's notice that this hearing was taking place tonight. So we weren't expected to be here at all. So you just might have to bear with us if we need to kind of go back, find the exhibit and read it. And,
that's fine.
you don't mind.
No, absolutely not. This is your opportunity to be heard. I want to make sure that if you have any questions, concerns, want to make any statements or add any additional evidence that the DRB should take into consideration before it makes a decision, you have the opportunity to do that.
Okay.
So, and so if you have questions along any part of this way about anything, please just chime in and ask them.
Okay, thank you.
So the next order of business is for either the agent or the owners to provide a brief synopsis of why we're here. And as I said, I would really appreciate identifying what sections of our zoning ordinance the agent or the owners believe that this can be permitted under.
So Raymond Reed Reconstruction, I'll kick it off. Number one, I'd like to apologize to everybody that it got this far. This is my fault. I should have followed. I got a little bit behind on the paperwork. This is not my client's. This is my responsibility. So I'd like to get this behind us. I feel that we can permit this into a residential application of expansion, and also taking the shed that's no longer there, take that square footage and put it into the mudroom, which I have sent to Alex.
So is that an additional exhibit that we don't have?
It was sent.
So the plans for the potential modified stairs are included in the.
So that's for the modified stairs.
So the plans include the existing stairs, the as-built, and it also contains a modified proposed
Right.
layout for the stairs.
Okay. So that is one of the exhibits, right, John?
I'm checking right now.
Cheryl, who's ever talking, can you remind them, besides Ray, to get to a microphone, because we couldn't hear that person?
Seems to be turned on.
Is it me or Alex?
I don't know.
Was it Alex or Raymond you couldn't hear?
Alex, can you do a test?
Is this microphone working?
It's Alex. His
Okay.
microphone's dead.
So I have a 3D rendering of the proposed stairs, which is Exhibit 10. So are you talking about something else, Ray?
Well, we can work off that 3D rendering of the stair proposal.
Okay.
Fields and myself came up with a design to reconfigure the stairs in a safe manner that sets them back. And also where the bridge was on the original house, we're 4 feet past that inside the buildable.
So I would like to offer some clarification. So page 9 of the DRB packet that I sent you is the as-built staircase, and then pages 13 and 14 of that packet are the proposed modified stairs. And the 14 actually has the existing stairs overlaid with the proposed stairs.
Okay, I see that. Thank you, Alex.
Share that with me.
Sure, yeah.
So you would like to continue?
I'm about to resend the email.
Want to continue with your explanation?
My explanation is, I made a mistake and I'm going to own it. And as I'm embarrassed to it. I'm a builder in the Valley for a long time. And I don't feel my clients should have to go through sitting here. So I'm taking full responsibility. Number one, I want to get that clear to everybody. And I'd like to get to a resolution where, we have a proposed stairs that, I talked to Marshall, I talked to other people, he's okay with it, but that's up to you guys.
But that's not the only thing we're looking at. We're also looking at an expanded back deck nothing is in the footprint, and all of your permits stayed in the footprint.
The house is in the footprint. The deck, there's about 300 square feet added to the deck, as well as a mudroom. And we take that square footage from the shed and apply that to the mudroom, and the deck is cantilevered. And I'm asking if we could do a permit for a deck permit for the extra square footage.
So you realize we still have to wait for the state.
We're right there at the finish line with the state. Yes, I do realize that.
Have you received anything from them?
Just that they have received all our documents and we answered every question that they have.
Thank you.
And we also did a full site map with no mow zones and giving what they want.
Have you provided any of that to Alex? Has he seen any of that?
He briefly saw some of it. I emailed him some, plus I met with him today to see if this hearing was going to happen and showed him our dialogue with Misha from Shorelands.
Yes, there was nothing final in that. It was just the conversation, the permit application that's ongoing.
Thank you. Okay, John, go ahead.
Okay, so the next step of the process is we're going to go through the various articles of the zoning ordinances which apply to this. I think the first article we will go through is Article 2. I think Ray is probably familiar with this, given that this is not his first DRB hearing. But Mr. and Mrs. Oldfield, I understand that this may be your first DRB hearing, so I will go through those just so you understand them. Article 2 basically sets out the administrative procedures for this process. It's a quasi-judicial process, which means it's a hearing. We have the DRB serving basically as a judge over this matter, and here's evidence from all parties that want to testify within our procedures. Article 2 sets out the submission requirements for what you need to submit, which is an application, detailed site plans and designs and things like that. It also explains that you have a right to appeal if you choose to appeal the decision of the DRB. It explains how long the DRB has to issue a decision, which is 45 days. Typically, we do it much sooner than that. I do want to highlight two sections of Article 2, which are important to this, or might be, and that is Section 231, which references legal non-conforming structures, uses, and lots. As you may understand or may not, you have a legal non-conforming structure. As I understand it, was built in 1950 before there were Wilmington zoning ordinances. And under the definition of legal non-conforming structure, yours is it because of its age. So for what Section 231 says is that for changes to structures, and that's all we're going to do, is that do not conform to the current zoning ordinances, but which complied with the zoning ordinance in existence at the time of the structure, lot, or use was created. See Article 4, Section 430, 431, and 432. And the reason I raise that is because the next section, Section 232, discusses the criteria for obtaining a dimensional waiver from the Development Review Board. Legal non-conforming structures can't get waivers under Section 232. That's made clear by Article 4 and Article 7. And we'll walk through that in more detail in a minute. And I should say I did take a look at Section 232, and I believe the additions that you make exceed the footprint increases that are allowed under Section 232. If you want to touch on that right now, I'd be happy to listen.
What is the square footage of the addition footprint in that article?
So it says a waiver is for an addition to an existing principal or accessory structure, and said addition does not increase the footprint of the building by more than 5% or by no more than 200 square feet, whichever is less. So those are all the articles. So we're having a public hearing now. That's also what the Article 2 talks about. Do you have any questions about Article 2?
I do not.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Oldfield, do you have any questions?
No, we don't have any questions. This is the first time that we're hearing about this specific regulation and articles, for the record.
So now we'll go on to Article 4, which is districts and its uses. So you're in the.
Hey, John, sorry. It's Charlie, sorry. Can I just ask a question? So from the Oldfields, did you guys get the notices from DRB, right? All the addresses, everything was sent out ahead of time. All the notice of violations all went to your RI address. Did you receive those?
Are you talking recently or are you talking back in 2025?
So the notices
Really?
of violation were sent out in 2025.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we received those. And I guess this is probably something Ray should have explained. We spoke to Ray about those immediately, and we were informed by our builder that it was under control and that everything had been handled, and thus the reason why you guys never heard back from us. This has all been conveyed to Alex as well. So I do feel like there's and to the attorney for the town. So I feel like you'll be missing a substantial amount of documentation relating to our side of the story. Purely because A, we weren't aware of how formal this process was. And B, we had an hour to prepare for it as well.
I guess my question is, this has been warned for several weeks. I'm sorry if the information wasn't shared for you by Ray and stuff, but the hearings goes over and the warnings go over all the ordinances that'll be applied for each hearing, and same with the violations as well.
I'm sure that's correct. The point that we're trying to make is there was a meeting scheduled for 2 weeks ago. Our involvement or the slating of this on the agenda was pulled at the last minute. We weren't aware that it was going to be discussed formally at this meeting until an hour before. And as a result, we're simply saying that we may not be as prepared for your questions as you might like us to be. And so we would ask for your patience with that and your understanding. Ray is here as our agent. He's been dealing with all of these matters. We had felt and understood that they were dealt with when we were first received notification back in 2025. Clearly it hadn't. As soon as we received further notification at our address, as Mr. Foster implies, recently we have been in contact with Ed Adrian on several occasions, Ed Adrian being the attorney for the town. We've also communicated directly with Alex, as has Ray. And we are further, therefore, saying to you that there are other conversations and discussions that have taken place with Ed Adrian as your attorney and with Alex that may not be in your exhibit pack. If you are comfortable with that, then we can continue forward, and Ray will continue to talk on our behalf with the questions, the specific questions around the site and the sizing of it, as he's worked on it for the last 18 months.
Okay. So before I jump into Article 4, I did want to go through a couple of the exhibits just to confirm some of the facts. I think that will make going through Article 4 and Article 7 a lot more straightforward. So the first exhibit I want to take a look at is Exhibit 2, which is the zoning permit staff report. And so I just have a couple questions I just want to confirm. Alex did an excellent job identifying most of the salient facts in his memo. So the first fact I just want to confirm is the principal structure was constructed in 1930 prior to the implementation of the Town of Wilmington zoning ordinance. Is that correct?
You want to turn it up, Alex? You're having, hold on one second, John. Diana, who are you having trouble hearing?
John.
So can you,
It's the background machine.
okay, we can turn off, hold on, John, we're going to turn off the heat. You can also turn it up if you grab the,
No, I mean, everyone else is okay. I think he's just. You can speak closer to the mic.
I think you just have to turn it down.
All right. So let's go down the stairs.
We have a new plan for the stairs. There's a new plan. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, John.
Okay, so the question I asked was, I just wanted to confirm this information. The principal structure was constructed in 1932 prior to the implementation of the Town of Wilmington zoning ordinance, which was first implemented in 1968. Is that correct, that this was built in 1930? That was to the agent of the owners.
I understand that, and I'm just got Alex's document, so I'm reading them.
Why did you, did you just send him something that he hadn't had before?
Well, I resent the DRB packet. I had sent it several weeks ago, but
I don't believe I've seen. Could you give me the date of this exhibit?
Sure.
Would you mind bringing it up on the screen so that we can see it? That would be really helpful, because I don't believe I've seen this specific exhibit. So it doesn't feel very fair to be introducing these documents at this time when we haven't seen them or read them. It's hard to answer two things.
So
Actually,
just to
Alex,
clarify, I did send the.
did you send it to them?
I sent the DRB packet to Nick Oldfield and Ray Reed. Heather Oldfield was not on the on that email chain when I was sending it out. I was in.
So when did you send it?
I can get the date.
My apologies if that's the case.
Are you sending it again?
No, I just sent it. I just sent it a few moments ago to bring it to the top of everybody's.
So do you have the
inbox,
ability
but I
to
sent
look
it
for
on-
an email from Alex right now?
It was April 1st, 2026.
When did it come?
It was April 1st, 2026 was when I sent the DRB packet to Mr. Oldfield and Mr. Reed.
So April 1st?
Okay, I found an email April 1st and the DRB packet that my husband forwarded to me. Okay, thank you. And are we looking at so the exhibit is the zoning permit summary?
Staff summary, yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
thank you. All right. I have it in front of me.
Okay. So the first question, which is, was the principal structure constructed in 1930? Do you dispute that fact? Does anybody dispute that?
No, we do not dispute that fact.
I don't think anyone's disputing that.
Okay. All right, so then I'm going to go to page 2 and section 4 of the memo.
Mhm.
So in the second paragraph, and it says the total footprint of the front mudroom that was just constructed and entry structure is 300 square feet, which is an increase of 260 square feet compared to the original features. Is there any dispute about that?
No.
Okay, good. The footprint of the new rear deck is 576 square feet, an increase of 445 square feet from the original deck. Is there any dispute with respect to that?
Nope.
Okay. Oh, the other thing is the final thing I want to confirm in the memo, also in section 4, is the construction of the rear deck encroached 6 feet beyond the existing degree of nonconformity, placing the deck approximately 7 feet from the rear property boundary. Any dispute with respect to that?
7 feet from the shoreline?
Correct.
I would say we are 7 feet from shoreline.
Okay. All right. Those are the facts I wanted to confirm in that memo. Then I wanted to turn to Exhibit 5, which is the Town of Wilmington property tax card for 220 Lake Raponda Road.
Sorry.
And I just wanted people to take a look at the square footage. This is the original structure. Is there any dispute with respect to the measurements that are contained in this drawing?
On the tax map, no.
Okay. Excellent. Now, I just want to point out, and this is in Exhibit 22, which is the notice of violation dated October 8th, 2025. And, the retaining wall issue is moot, but I do want to go on to the construction beyond the approved footprint, which is in the background section, number 2.
I'm sorry, I can hardly hear John, and I've got my computer up as high as it'll go.
All right, I will speak louder. So we're looking at the notice of violation dated October 8th, 2025. And the section 2 in the background section says the town issued zoning permit 2024-319 for the foundation repair replacement in the same footprint, and zoning permit 25-042 to rebuild 1 4-bedroom single-family home in the same footprint. You understand that you were only allowed to build within the same footprint.
To that letter, yes.
Okay. All right. So now we'll move on to Article 4. So the salient sections of this are section 431, which references changes to legal non-conforming structures, lots, and uses. So as I've explained to you already, you have a legal non-conforming structure because it was built in 1930, and our first zoning ordinances were in 1968. So section 431A says, any alteration, renovation, or change for the purpose of compliance with environmental, safety, or energy codes will be allowed to increase the degree of nonconformity. Were any of the changes made to the structure for environmental, safety, health, or energy code reasons?
I would have to say no.
Okay. All right. I'm going to drop down in A and say, it says a non-conforming structure may be altered, renovated, or changed in any direction for any reason, including maintenance repair. But then it says the change of a non-conforming element of the structure remains within the footprint of the original non-conforming element. So section 431 requires it to exist within the existing footprint of the property. So I just want you to understand that. Also, section 431 in A3 says the change, which means a change to the structure, will not increase the degree of nonconformity or encroachment into a setback. And as we just went through, there is an increase in the degree of nonconformity. Any questions about that section?
No.
Okay. Then we'll move on to Article 7, standards. And the first one we will address is section 705, changes to non-conforming structures, lots, and or uses.
I just want to back up 1 second.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of stuff getting thrown. With the deck, just to have it on record that it's 15 feet. You kept saying 7 feet.
Well, so what I read from the memo says the construction of the rear deck encroached 6 feet beyond the existing degree of nonconformity, placing the deck approximately 7 feet from the rear property boundary.
I feel that's a guesstimate. We could do a site visit, or
we could do a site visit if you choose, if you dispute that fact.
I do dispute that fact.
Okay.
Alex, have you done any measuring?
We can also.
I know you did pictures, but have you done any measurement?
Not of the rear.
There's also a site plan that can be sent over to Alex right away. I believe it was sent, but we'll get that over to him right now.
So the measurements that I included in my report were based on the site plan that you sent me. I took measurements from the.
Well, they weren't scalable plans.
Nice.
So that could be the mix up right there.
It's required.
Well, the site plan was not scalable and there was numbers on there, but we can fix this. I just wanted to catch this before we got any further along.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ray, for doing that.
No worries. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, no problem. All right, so back to section 705, changes to non-conforming structures, lots, and uses. So, this highlights the fact that a legally non-conforming structure is anything built prior to January 26, 1968, when the first Wilmington zoning ordinance was adopted. It also states that legal non-conforming structures are not eligible for waivers under Article 2. And then we move on to section 706, which also deals with non-conforming structures. It says non-conforming structures may be modified consistent with the guidelines of this section with the prior written decision and approval of the Development Review Board. And then again, it says modifications for non-conforming structures are not eligible for a waiver. Section 706E says, not any renovations or alterations to a non-conforming structure must remain within the footprint of the original non-conforming element or feature, including any overhangs or cantilevering. And any renovations or additions cannot increase the degree of nonconformity. I should also point out that in section G or subsection 706G, it says evidence of the footprint of the original nonconforming structure shall be clearly established and maintained by the property owner seeking to rebuild within the footprint of the original nonconforming structure. Any questions about section 706 or 705?
Nope.
Okay, so now I'm going to go through section 710, which is the use performance standards. Ray, I think you've been through these before, I don't think these will be a surprise to you. So section 710A deals with vibration. Will there be any continuous, permanent, or ongoing or frequent vibration that will be discernible at the property line?
No.
I didn't think so. Good. Noise, which is 710B. Will there be any continuous, permanent, ongoing, or frequent noise in excess of that of a normal conversation at the property line?
No.
Thank you. 710C. Will there be any emission of dust, ash, smoke, or other particulate matter that could harm or damage human, animal life, vegetation, or a property by reason of concentration or toxicity?
No.
Okay. Will there be any injurious or noxious practices that could harm human, animal life, or vegetation or property?
No.
All right. Next, we're just going to go through section 2721, which are the general standards. Will this project have any adverse effect on the capacity of an existing or planned community, municipal, or education facility?
Should not be. I mean, if anything, it would be a positive because it's more
Right.
taxes.
Will it have any impact on traffic, roads, highways, transportation systems, pedestrian walkways in the vicinity of the project?
Other than the stairs, no.
Okay, we'll discuss the stairs in a couple minutes, but thank
Yep.
you for that. I don't think there's any renewable energy involved in this project. Is that correct?
Nope.
Okay. Not going to impact air quality?
Nope.
Okay. Impact the character, aesthetics, scenic value of the neighborhood?
What was that question? I couldn't hear you.
Sorry about that. Would impact the character, aesthetics, or scenic value of the neighborhood or area?
No, it only upgrades it.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to go to section 730, which is conditional use specific standards. So the first one, which is section 730, lighting and glare. All lighting shall be shielded and downcast in all districts. So in looking at some of the photographs of the new proposed structures, the front, I believe there is new lighting being installed. Is that correct?
Yes.
I saw on the mudroom on the front, there was wiring for lighting, but there is no indication of what types of lights are going to be put there. Can you describe the lighting that?
The lighting is down lighting, and the looms on the walls are below light pollution to Vermont spec.
Okay.
Because I'm very aware that they're not going to have a spotlight shining across the lake.
Okay. And I also noticed in the pictures that there's new lighting on the rear deck as well as lighting on the two sides of the home. Is that all downcast and shielded?
Capped, and the upper lighting is for cameras and security.
Oh, okay.
Is it a motion activated light
Yes,
up when
ma'am.
the camera goes on?
Yes.
Or trips?
All right, so then we'll go to 730B, which is safety. Are there any potential safety hazards that exist either on a temporary basis or a permanent basis? And this is where we should discuss the stairs.
Okay.
I believe you made some modifications to the stairs, and that's in the exhibits that we looked at. Do you want to describe what you proposed after you heard from Marshall Dix, our road supervisor?
So as coming out of the stairs, yes, I understand Marshall's concern, and so do the Oldfields. And we came up with a resolution that I feel fits everybody and all the needs, is that we'd be coming out the house roughly 4 feet, where the in the overlay map, I don't know what exhibit you guys have it under, the bridge came out on the original home roughly where the stairs are now. Now we'll be shrinking them. These stairs will be further back than where the Oldfield well is. So where you will exit the house, you will go down the stairs right and left, come to a platform, walk off, and you will be in their little parking area, which technically is over 15 feet from center of road.
I'd ask that you send a sketch of that.
Can I clarify whether you guys have seen a copy of it, because we had our architect draw up a set of this exact thing that Ray's talking about. It's been submitted to Alex. It's been submitted to the town's attorney. The highway patrol has seen it and has given us his view that he's happy with it.
Yes, the plans that they're referencing are on page 13 and 14 of the DRB packet.
Okay, that's probably the best thing for us all to be referring to right now.
Right. I'm just confirming that that's what's going to be constructed.
Well, that's up to you guys. Like we are obviously working very hard to please everybody and do the right thing. So that was our proposal. We are open to suggestions. We're open to changes, but that is something we put together, having heard all of the concerns with the stairs.
So how much further do those stairs get pushed back?
We
What are
shave
we
about
saving? Yeah.
4 feet off, so they'd be.
You did notice that Marshall says you can't park between the building and the road.
We don't park between the building and the road. We don't see that as a parking place anyway, except when we're unloading.
Their area. Yes.
So we were never considering that a parking space. And we appreciate the concerns that would be involved with any car parking there as well.
Any other questions from the DRB on the stairs?
Charlie, any questions? Diane?
What's the width of the stair? And the
We're
length?
happy to take input too. Like, if somebody had a better suggestion, how to enter the house, we're very happy to listen.
Crystal, questions?
I don't know.
The width of your front stairs, are like 4 feet wide or 5 feet wide? What's the width of the stair?
4 feet.
4?
Yes.
Okay.
So I do want to give the neighbors a chance to talk about the safety issues So section 730. And also I want to give the neighbors a chance to talk about 721, the character and aesthetics. Probably should do that now since we're at that place. So any neighbors wish to speak? Carol, John, Cindy,
This is Mike off. Is he trying to talk?
what's that?
I think his mic is off. Maybe he's.
You're on.
Any comments?
I have a comment. If John wants to go ahead, John. I couldn't
Carol,
tell.
why don't you go first?
You go first.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, I want to say, I know it's really hard for the property owners if the contractor has gone above and beyond what he was supposed to do in terms of following the regulations. So I do feel, that it's rough for any owner that has to deal with a contractor that doesn't understand regulations. Having said that, I think there were opportunities to try to stop things in the middle or pull back. And I think the stairs were the first obvious thing that people noticed because there was a lot of impacts during the construction, which technically would have been temporary, but because now the house is configured so that the original door entry, which was level with the Lake Raponda Road, is no longer there. There have to be some kind of stairs or else some kind of side entry, which is probably too difficult. Part of the issue with the stairs, I see that if they go out to the side, that's probably better from a road and safety standpoint, but there also is, there are considerations environmental, which you may be getting to eventually. And I think that the Vermont DEC and the shoreline people have issues with because you're adding more impervious area to than what was there before due to the size and the length. So there's that. In terms of the one other issue I see is that, and maybe you haven't gotten to this either, but the retaining wall that was the original retaining wall along the road side of the house has been replaced with huge concrete blocks, which have encroached towards the lake. So there's a whole parking area now. I know Heather said it was not going to be used for parking, but it's extended the road towards the lake, more impervious area, creating more runoff to the lake and that kind of thing, which impacts the water quality. And maybe, they're not going to use it as parking. There is a garage across the street that can be used for parking, but if workers come, which often do, or snow gets plowed over, then that creates, if people pull over, whatever, to be working there, that does impede the road traffic. So I think from a safety standpoint, whatever can be done to narrow or diminish the width and the length of the stairs, maybe half stairs or something, I guess I would recommend that.
Could I ask Ray to speak to the retaining wall? Carol, my understanding is that retaining wall has been removed, and from what I can see with the many times I've been there, I'm not sure I understand what you're talking
Carol,
about.
I appreciate all the feedback. The blocks, the Jersey blocks have been removed. Everything has been put back to original structure on that end of it. And that matter has been closed with Alex.
It's been closed legally as well. It's been accepted on the statement of claim that it's no longer a concern and no longer a part of the claim. That's my understanding.
So just to put your mind at ease on that, it was just to safely get the guys over there, and then everything was taken down and trucked out and put back. And we have all the stairs, we have kept in very detail the impervious. So there would be pervious materials that let the water flow that the state would recommend on the porch, the stairs. And then
Are you saying that the concrete blocks, which were huge, you took all those concrete blocks out, because I understood you need them for construction.
Can I just read you the footnote of the summons? The footnote says the retaining wall has been removed and is not part of this enforcement action. Remains part of the communications and NOAV with the defendant. So it's not a part of the summons. It's been the attorney has confirmed. I'm sure Alex would probably hopefully will confirm that it's no longer an issue. It has been removed, as Ray said, quite some time ago, I think.
Right. I was trying to say, my question was, what did it get replaced with?
I'll have to have Ray talk to that.
I have inspected the site. It was replaced in kind with what was already there. It is now stacked stone blocks again in the same place that it was. And that was the basis for us closing that portion of the notice of violation.
Okay,
So,
that's very helpful.
The Jersey blocks were to protect the original wall, is why they were put there temporarily.
Yeah, I understand. You had cranes and construction equipment. You need to get more solid ground.
Yeah, we didn't want to disturb what was there, and it's a beautiful wall.
Yep. Thank
you. You're welcome.
Thank you, John.
Well, first of all, I'm glad to hear the comments about the parking. I've noticed that the road has basically been a one-way street through that area during the construction period, and that side of the road has been used for significant parking. I'm glad that that issue is being addressed. The second issue is lighting. I'm a little bit concerned about lighting. I believe in a dark sky. There have been numerous people in the neighborhood who have complained bitterly about lighting that has gone up recently on other properties. And I would suspect that the same thing would occur if the lighting on this property is not shielded and downward and turned off at night when it doesn't need to be on. So I'm glad to hear about that too. I'd just like to point out that that's a significant issue. And I do want to remind the board that there have been a couple of prior applications for changes to properties right there, including some time ago when it was the zoning review board. There was an issue with the development of that garage across the street, and there was also significant precedent on the property next door, which is owned by the Loeys, when they wanted to expand their little garage, so to speak, which is next to their house. Thank you.
Can I add? Thank you, John, for your input, and we appreciate it. We didn't go into this project wanting to upset anybody. From the very beginning, even when we started construction, there was, we were going to start, Ray wanted to start in the summer. We said, no, we need to wait until the end of summer because as a matter of courtesy to all of our neighbors. So we waited. We feel like the build is sympathetic to the previous house, and to the neighboring homes as well. Originally, there was, some discussion about kind of, going up another level. We wanted to keep it fairly low key. I do feel with regards to the footprint, we pretty much kept anything to me. And I know we've gone through all the regulations today, but anything outside of the footprints is above ground. And now we're trying to make a big point out of dealing with the impervious points underneath the deck by getting pervious stones, giving back this no-mow area to the state. The stairs, we're already looking at a way to kind of protect the land that's underneath that and to make that pervious. So we're very conscious of everybody's concerns and trying to deal with them the best we can. And we're open to neighbors knocking on the door and actually talking to us and letting us know their concerns. You are welcome to come in for a coffee and have a chat with us. To let us know your concerns as well. We're very open to that.
Cindy, did you want to speak?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just-
Thank you so much, John. Sorry for interrupting, but I thought we should talk about that. And I believe you're at,
Traffic and pedestrian safety, which I think we pretty much covered, but I will raise the question. Are there any additional traffic or pedestrian safety issues that we haven't discussed with respect to the stairs?
No.
Okay. Anybody, any other witnesses want to testify with respect to that?
I do have a question on the stairs. What's the purpose of the two double, the double stair? Like why, what's the function of that? Like what are you gaining on?
It's number one.
You're trying to, reduce your
People
footprint.
coming in,
You seem
people
to be
coming out can go up,
increasing it.
down. And it just, the aesthetic of the house. And it also will flow with the children and the old fields.
My understanding is the main concern with the stairs was that it was encroaching on the road too much, and the width of the stairs, it was too wide, which I agree with, to be honest. So the purpose of the new design is to reduce the encroachment onto the road.
Which I understand. It just seems the double entry seems like a pretty grand, entry for we're trying to minimize some of our impact. It just seemed.
No, I understand your question. And it's more of a flow for people coming up and people coming out. And also aesthetic look to the house, which I can also explain to the old fields.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
no,
I guess, no, not really. I mean,
it doesn't.
that many
It's
people
still,
coming out of the
it's
house.
still a very large stair and it's still,
Scale.
I mean, you could just have one side coming down.
And I can run that by the old fields and have a conversation. I understand what you're saying. There's no need to laugh at me.
No, I'm not laughing.
I'm watching.
Okay, let's be polite.
I am being very
Thank
polite.
you.
I've been getting laughed at by, so.
We are going forward. Anything else, Diane?
Nope. That's it.
Okay, John.
Okay.
Could I just say on the stairs though, I guess from my point of view, we weren't redesigning the stairs to make something look grand and outstanding. We redesigned them to address the concerns raised by the town. We also had an architect redesign them to be sympathetic again with the house and to meet the design of the house. So if you look at the front of it, the gables are like this. So we thought that if we have the stairs going like that, it would be more in keeping with the front of the house. That's all. There's no, underlying motive.
Yeah. And I think, let's be very clear, we're trying to address the safety concerns. This gives people in and out access and keeps people away from the road, which is specifically the points that were raised by the town. So we are very comfortable that the new design addresses those concerns. Moreover, the stairs do not extend currently or in the new design as far as the previous bridge extended. So we would respectfully submit, along with Ray, that this design is appropriate.
Thank you. Carol, you had a question?
Yeah, I just, I'm trying to understand why they are, I mean, I understand from an architectural viewpoint, but if this is non-conforming and the original bridge was only, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet wide, this adds a lot to the area. And if someone's coming down either side of those stairs, there's going to have to be, they will have to walk into the road pretty much to get to a car or whatever that's parked across, loading or unloading. So I would think it'd be safer to have just one entry exit than to have two. So I agree with that concept of cutting down the stairs.
Thank you. Okay, John, let's keep going.
Okay. The next section, which is 730 D, is parking, commercial parking, residential parking, and loading areas. Can you detail the parking situation for this property? Is there off-street parking? Are there parking spaces?
There's parking places across the street in front of the garage, in the garage, and to the left of the garage.
Okay, and how many parking spaces are there?
You could do 3 to 4.
Okay. Any questions about that?
Diane?
No, no. Thank you.
Okay. The next section is G, which is land and water management. The development plan shall protect properties, transportation systems, and public safety by providing safe environmentally appropriate water management, including but not limited to water supply availability, stormwater retention, absorption, prevention of water pollution, making appropriate provision for management of erosion, preservation of rivers and streams, stream banks, wetlands, waterways, channels, and agricultural lands, and preserving and promoting scenic or aesthetic features in open spaces. So what provisions have been made in this project for management of preventing water pollution, erosion, and preservation of Lake Ripponda?
That I'll have to refer to Shorelands and Misha, but we have given double no-mow zones up to, I believe, right around 1,300 square feet, and also a rain bed where it's natural, no-mow, and filtration of road water and everything else that they would want.
Okay, so you shared it with the Department of Environmental Conservation, but right now we have nothing in the record about that.
I understand that. I mean, Alex has seen all of it.
So, Mr. Reed, Jessica, your consultant did just submit some documentation shortly, but it does need to come from you. Would you like me to submit this as an exhibit to the DRB?
Please.
Okay.
Okay, so that information is going to be submitted as Exhibit 25. All right, so the next section of 730 is H, which is wastewater and potable water. Basically there has to be evidence of a wastewater and potable supply permit, I believe is part of Exhibit 16, which was one of the applications for the original structure, that you did submit a wastewater and portable water permit for a 4-bedroom home at 220 Lake Ripponda. Correct? We have that. Carol, you have a question?
Yeah, I didn't know if you, on the prior article, if you had asked for comments. Are you going article by article for comments, or?
Yes, no, if you want to have comments about land and water management, that's.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, I did. So, we've been really working hard at the lake to try to work on buffer areas for the lake to prevent stormwater erosion from the lake of the lake and stormwater runoff into the lake. So any additional pervious surface is going to add more stormwater and more erosion, as you know. So I'm really glad to hear there's going to be no mow zones. I'm glad to hear there's going to be rain garden. Those are great starts. I think the question is there going to be some kind of buffer, because right now the deck goes right up to the lake. I'm not sure there's even room for any kind of buffer. And so, native plants being planted, and that kind of thing. That would be one question. And then
Hold on there. Let's see if they can answer that question before you go on. Did you hear that question?
And you can look at Exhibit 25 that we just submitted.
I don't have it.
I understand, but there will be a border of rocks, natural rocks, that will deter anybody from mowing and wrapping around. And then there is a full diagram of where it goes.
Okay, the question is, does it buffer, are the plantings native, first of all, and are they located along the edge of the lake and extending the bank of the lake, actually?
They go most of the lake side on the left, yes.
So you're talking about Exhibit 25?
Yes.
Where is Exhibit 25?
Alex?
Came to your email.
It just came?
I just sent it
Yeah.
a few moments ago.
Well, the other question I have is that there's a boat garage that's there. And my impression is that if the boat garage were taken down, that
The boat garage has been,
structure, excuse me, can I just finish? If
Sure.
the boat structure were taken down, that would actually go a long way to help with increasing the pervious area. That would be beneficial. And then also there could be plantings along in that area too. So that was one question that I had that I didn't see that get addressed, but I haven't seen I just got the package, so I'm not sure if that was addressed. Thank you.
So go ahead, Ray.
There are plantings behind the boat garage, all the way around. If you're staring at the lake from the road, you have left and right side by the stone wall. So any water that runs off from the road will get filtered into a rain garden filtration system. If you go to the left side, you have a no-mow zone to the left, wrapping around to the entrance to their dock. And then you also have the same behind the boat garage as a no-mow filtration system, as well as gutters will be added to run into a filtration system. So everything that Shoreland is asked for, and we went above and beyond, because the Old Fields and myself do care that, everything stays clean and purified. Their children are swimming in the lake as well.
Right. My question really was, is it possible for the boat garage to be pulled down because the roof of the boat garage is adding to the stormwater runoff? If you take that away, then you don't get the stormwater runoff you would have before.
We would be willing to add gutters on the boat garage. It's a very good point. But, the boat garage goes with that property, and it's, pretty sentimental to the land.
yeah, apologies for interjecting, Carol, early, because I feel like the boathouse, taking that down also loses a lot of the historical aspects to the building. Again, that was our kind of, we wanted to keep something of the old house, and I didn't think for a minute anything like that would ever get through the council anyway, through the town, and nor would I ever try to even bring it up. So sorry, that was, I assume that it's not something.
I think the question then for you guys do you think it's worth it to counteract some of the environmental issues and the non-conforming issues? Is it worth it to take it down? I mean, it seems like it's kind of falling down anyway. I don't know structurally how it is, but that's up to you.
Yeah, look, thank you, Carol. As Ray said, we'll look at the gutters, and as he said, that's a good point. We'll take advice from Ray from a construction perspective, and if that can add something to the environmental impact, then we're happy to consider it. Thank you.
Okay, let's continue on with testimony, please. No comments currently.
All right, so the final section that we need to deal with is shoreland protection. So that's 730K. And so for all property within the protected shoreland area, all development shall be in conformity with the Shoreland Protection Act. Any new development, redevelopment, or clearing activity within the shoreland requires a conditional use permit from the DRB. Application shall include a site plan, project description, documentation of compliance with the Shoreland Protection Act, and applicant must obtain approval from the Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation prior to the issuance of a local conditional use permit. I don't see any documentation of compliance with the Shoreland Protection Act in your application. Is there?
I do agree with that statement. I also do want to bring up the point that you guys were willing to hear us until Shoreland had their time to get back and get us our permit. It was stated in the email from Alex that they were going to hear, you guys would hear us without our shoreline.
Well, as Section K says, you need to get a DEC permit before he can issue a conditional use permit. What we're just trying to do now is determine your compliance with the Shoreland Protection Act. And
all our documents.
Can I finish first, please? And typically in cases, what we would have right now is a DEC decision that says there is no violation of the Shoreland Protection Act, but we don't have that. Nor do we have any other form of documentation of compliance with the Shoreland Protection Act.
So for the DRB members, does anyone feel the need to have a site visit? Charlie?
I guess, yeah, I'd like to hear what the other DRB members here. I guess my question is, regarding the non-conforming, Ray was saying that it would take from the shed for the square footage, but when I look at the original site plan on the tax map, the shed is not on there.
Site plan, Diane? Site visit.
Site visit.
I think there was just one data point that was unclear, which was the one that you were saying you weren't sure if it was accurate when John was clarifying how far the deck comes out, right?
I sent over the plans. That would be in Exhibit 25, as well as everything we have provided working with the state and Shoreland. Yes, they have not got back to us. He is on vacation.
I was just looking to, I think that was the only measurement that we had.
Did we want to ask Alex to go measure? So do we need to have a site plan is the question. A site visit. We have a site plan, right?
I think as long as, if you were able to measure, I would feel sufficient.
So,
measurements.
and what exactly do we want him to measure?
John asked for clarification on some of the measurements in your report.
It was the distance from the rear deck to the rear property line, if I remember.
Is that, John, what you need?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay. So I'm good with Alex just going and doing that.
Yeah, agreed.
So I don't think we need a site visit. So the next question is the DRB comfortable making a decision tonight, or do you want to continue? And I've got to tell you, if it's continued, the earliest date will be June 1st. Unfortunately, we have to have all the members who are here at the continuation. And we've got some members who are going on vacation.
Understood. I mean, my suggestion for my clients, myself, is that if we have that shoreland and I can meet Alex and we can measure everything, I feel we should do a continuance to then.
Well, the continuance will have to go to June 1st. That's when the DRB would be able to meet again to continue.
All right.
And we don't have any idea when we're going to hear from the state, correct?
As far as I know.
But because Charlie's going on vacation, you're going on vacation. I wish I was going on vacation.
Can we?
So the earliest date that I see, Charlie, you being available, because you're not available on the 18th except for 2/11, which we'll do by phone, because that's a travel day for you. So the first date that you would be available is the 1st. John, are you traveling? What's your schedule?
What day?
June 1st.
No, I'll be in Wilmington.
Diane?
June 1st.
June 1st.
Probably.
I mean, we could also close and do a continuance just on the state DRB. I mean, not the DRB, the state shoreland.
The state shorelands we have to have before we can make a decision.
Okay.
So when the earliest that we can continue this is June 1st.
Okay, I was just seeing if we close it and then just have that.
No,
Okay.
we
So
got,
can I just ask a question? So what you seem to be saying, Madam Chair, is that you, absent the state approval or the shoreline approval that we're still waiting on, you can't make a decision anyway.
Well, no, that's not, we could make a decision, except unfortunately, you have no documentation of compliance with the Shoreland Protection Act as part of your application.
My understanding is that's what we're waiting on from the state.
Well, one piece of evidence that would show compliance with the Shoreland Protection Act would be a DEC decision that you are in compliance. Obviously, you have to provide them with information with respect to compliance with the Shoreland Protection Act. We don't have that evidence at all. So we have nothing right now that indicates that you are in compliance with the Shoreland Protection Act. Now, if we make a decision and tell Alex to issue a permit, he cannot issue a permit until he hears from DEC that they have approved this project and that there is no issues with respect to the Shoreland Protection Act.
so going back to the continuation, June 1st. Charlie, you're good for June 1st? Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, I have a movie playing behind me, so I'm going to do a visual for a while, but yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we will continue this hearing until June 1st at 5 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. And if there's any additional exhibits, would you please be sure to send them to Alex so we can get them before? And also, would you please be sure that the old fields have everything that they need?
Yes.
Super. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we're continuing, and now we will just go on to any new or old business. I have none. Does anybody have any? Nope. Then thank you all, and we will close this hearing and our meeting. Thank you, everyone. And let's turn off the recording. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, continuation to 1 June at 5 p.m. Okay.
So we're gonna just, we will stay on for a few minutes. Thank you. We're going into a brief deliberation. Right.
Yeah, I've got a few questions.